pull them up and I'll do verbatim. Want to make sure I tell you correctly.
Well,
I'm going to read them all the way through unless Miss O'Brien wants to post.
I wouldn't object to reading them, but I do have the text messages submitted to the court yesterday, marked as exhibits number 1, and I would like to offer those. And if Mr. Huckabee wants to read them at that point in time, I'm good with that.
I'm perfectly fine with that.
I don't think they've been offered. They've been submitted to the court, but had not been offered. And I think it was exhibit 1. Is that right?
Correct.
Any objection to exhibit 1?
No, Your Honor.
One's admitted.
Okay. I'm going to read these to you. Have your lawyer send my lawyer request asking can I sign my rights away on Monday. Just remember for everyone to live with me. And you couldn't, you know the truth would get you in trouble. So you lied about everything. One day the girls will know the truth. Didn't Haven want to live with my client?
at one point in time, yes, you did.
And did you get mad at her for wanting to do that?
Object. This predates the agreement entered in May of 2020. This was referenced in his opening statement, and this was why I was objecting.
Mr. Huckabee?
I'm just reading the text message and asking the client about the text message that happened in June.
Okay, I'm going to allow you to ask questions about the text message. But the events that occurred before, I'm going to limit that. But I am going to allow you to inquire as to the text message. If they are an exhibit offered by Ms. O'Brien and have been admitted, remain quiet.
Okay. And when she texted that, was your response okay?
Yes.
Why didn't you respond? I never lied about anything. Why did you not do a response other than okay?
Because I was wanting to get with my lawyer to see what we can do to follow up with that.
Oh, so that was your plan all along. Make things so miserable between the child and Miss Bailey that you would hope she would do that.
No. The child was dropped off early due to whatever reason they had with each other, and then I get a text stating she wanted to relinquish her rights.
Okay, I'm gonna keep going.
So I figured that was her what she wanted.
Then she text you, so this is what she wanted all along. You didn't respond, did you?
No, I didn't
You
respond
didn't
to
say,
that.
no, that's not what I want? Anything like that?
No, I didn't respond to it, so I can't say anything.
Why didn't you respond? Why didn't you say, no, this is not what I want. I don't think this is best for the kids. Anything. Did you not respond because that was what you wanted the entire time?
No.
Well, then why didn't you say it wasn't?
Because I was going to get with my lawyer to see what the next step would be.
Okay. And the next message, you're a disgusting person. Anyone who uses their child as a weapon is a child abuse. Did you respond to that?
No, I did not respond to that because it's hateful.
Okay. Do you actually read questions or messages before you respond? A good parent will support the relationship with the other parent. A bad parent will do exactly what you've been doing. What had you been doing?
I'm not sure. See. Can you repeat the question?
A good parent will support the relationship with the other parent. A bad parent will do exactly what you've been doing.
A good parent, yes,
Like,
but if you are,
you never responded and said, I'm trying to be a good parent, I'm trying to help y'all's relationship, I'm trying to do something, you just, okay.
how can, I've tried to be there for the girls their entire life. So how is that being a bad parent?
So you think that since you've been there for the girls her entire life, Miss Bailey should just go disappear and let you continue what you're doing? Continue what you're doing.
No.
Correct?
No, sir. She's always had their visitations until recently when the slandering
Well, it's
in
funny
front of
you
the girls
say,
going on.
well, it's funny you say she's always had her visitation, but in the order from May, the court ordered makeup visitation, correct?
Correct?
If she always had her visitation, then why would there need to be makeup visitation? Is it because you had prevented her from having visitation prior, you're doing it again?
No.
You didn't keep the children from her in the past, just like you're doing now?
No.
So, since the children were born up until May, Miss Bailey had her visitation every single time she was allowed to have it.
She's,
We're going back behind the orders, entered in May, and I would like to object to that as res judicata.
Your Honor,
Sustain. You're trying to say that he opened the door, but you're the one asking the question. I'm not gonna allow you to, open the door for yourself. I'm not gonna do that.
that's fine.
Hmm.
Mr. Oakland, as my client had all her visitation,
no.
so your statement earlier that she's always had a visitation was not correct.
She's always had visitation whenever circumstances allowed.
Which are determined by you.
Not all the time. We usually communicated between each other about all the visitations before.
Alright, clarify your time period, Mr. Huckabee. What is our time frame that we're talking about? Visitation over what time period, please?
Okay. I'm using it as impeachment. You can go prior to the order as impeachment evidence. I am impeaching him based on his statement, I have always allowed to visit. And then I followed up with this on the May order. My client was given makeup visitation, so
I'm gonna allow you to go into a little bit for impeachment purposes, but even for impeachment purposes, for me to consider it, I need to understand what time frame you're looking at.
I would say prior to the order. Because he said he's always had it, and I said, then why in the last order was there makeup? That would imply that there wasn't. all
And so, I think that I will take judicial knowledge of that the prior order allowed for makeup visitation. Any objection to that, Ms. O'Brien?
No, Your Honor.
Alright, I will take that, I will acknowledge and take that into consideration. That there was makeup visitation allowed in the May order.
Yes, sir. Yes, it was.
Good. Then on the 15th, where's the paperwork? This is what you and Marcy both wanted. Marcy's always wanted to replace me, and as a mother, she should be ashamed of herself, and so should you for allowing it. So I'm on the paperwork so you can get what you wanted. Did you respond with anything other than, not sure, I left the lawyer a message?
That's the message I left, yes.
Why didn't you say, me and my wife didn't do this, we didn't want this? Or is it deep down what you've been wanting the entire time?
Because we've told her in the past, before the May meeting, that we never had once tried to replace her. That was her way of looking at things, and I can't change the way she looks at it.
Go ahead. But nowhere in that text messages did Miss Bailey say, I'm giving up my visitation. Correct?
She said she was wanting to relinquish her rights, and that's all I had. That's visitation.
Well, actually, have your lawyer send my lawyer request asking I sign my rights away on Monday. And the entire rest of the conversation is, you're a disgusting person for doing this, no good parent would allow this. Nowhere in there does she say, I want to sign my rights away because I don't want to see my kids. Does she? At all?
I don't have the messages in front of me. I understand what you're reading. It's just, from what I recollect, that's all that is said that was on the text messages.
And nowhere in that text message did she say, I want to do this. I want no visitation with my kids. Correct?
Correct.
So you just assumed that's what she meant, and as a result, you kept the kids from her.
From what I understood, she had paperwork in front of her to for the relinquishing of her rights, and that's the last I heard.
Did she ever sign it?
I did not know for sure because I wasn't ever contacted to know if she had signed it.
Don't
There
you think
can-
she had to sign it? Don't you think if she had signed it, your attorney would have been calling saying, we got it, let's file a termination, let's do this?
I'm not sure, it never happened, sir, so I can't be on what exactly would have happened.
Okay, now let's go back to after July, and during July. Has my client, anytime after July 2nd, told you, I am giving up all my visitation going forward?
There has been zero communication until October 9th.
So, you just based it on your own opinion that she was giving up your visitation. You didn't show up at the 6 p.m. to see if she's there. You didn't do anything. You just said, all right, I'm going to keep the kids like I have been doing. Or the child like I have been doing.
Whenever I was informed by the officers that she did not want to, that Haven wasn't welcome at her house anymore, that's whenever
Now,
this thing went
I'm
south.
sure your attorney's going to call the officer. That's fine. Now, is there a difference? I'm going to tell you two statements and tell me if there's a difference. I don't want Haven at my house no more. She's not welcome. That's one. I don't want Haven at my house if she's going to continue to be disrespectful and not follow mine and my husband's rules. Are those two different statements?
Yes, they are two different statements.
So, if my client told the officer, hey, if she's going to keep being disrespectful and rude, I'm not going to allow her over here until she decides that she wants to mind. That does not mean I don't want her ever over again. That's it.
From what I understand, she had called the officers back for a second statement, and I do not know what was stated on the second statement. All I know is that I was told that she was not welcome at their house anymore.
But you didn't verify that. You didn't do anything to check up on it. You didn't text Miss Bailey and say, hey, this is what I heard. What's going on here? Nothing. You just said, hey, I got what I wanted again. I'm keeping the kid.
No,
Correct?
no, sir. I did not
That's what
say
you did,
that.
though, right?
No, I was protecting the child from any more mental or physical abuse due to the fact that the police officers had to be called. And I am going off of the word of the police officer of what they said she had said.
She being Haven.
No, from what their mother had said, Jessie. From what I understood from police officers.
But you never verified anything. You never asked. You just ran with it just like you did in June up to July. Correct?
No. I was just trying to do what was right for Haven. I'm not once tried to protect, or not protect, but discourage her from coming over to her mother's house. She is scared to go over there. So I'm just trying to protect her as best as I can.
That's the witness.
So Brian,
Mr. Holcomb, you understand the seriousness of any court orders, correct?
Correct.
And as far as you denying the visitation, it was your understanding that Jessie didn't want visitation, correct?
Objection, leading,
Correct.
Your Honor.
as to leading, sustained as to leading.
What was your impression as far as Jessie wanting to visit with Hayden?
That she didn't want to visit anymore. I mean, she hasn't contacted one bit myself or Haven since July 2nd.
And have you always maintained the same phone number?
Yes, I have.
And have you ever blocked her during this time period from communicating with you?
No, ma'am.
And is it your understanding she has not communicated with Haven either during that time period?
Correct.
You have access to Haven's accounts, correct?
Yes, I can get it if I need to.
And Haven, to the best of your knowledge, does not have Jessie blocked either, correct?
Correct.
And as far as the phone is concerned, the phone that Haven had, was that phone destroyed?
Yes, it was.
And have you taken a picture of that phone? I think I have several pictures of the phone that you gave to me, correct?
Yes.
And are those pictures reflected in exhibits number 3 and 4? Those are the pictures of the phone that you gave me.
Yes.
And are they a clear and accurate reflection of the scene depicted in them?
Yes.
Have they been altered in any way?
No, I have not altered it.
Your Honor, I'd like to offer into evidence exhibits number 3 and 4.
No
Mr.
objection.
Huckabee,
No objection, Your Honor.
3 and 4 admitted.
According to the orders that were signed by the court, was there a provision in the order that Jessie was supposed to return items belonging to Haven?
Yes.
And when did you receive that broken phone back from Jessie's house?
The night of July 2nd when we picked up Haven.
Was it in the same condition that you had left it in with Haven?
No.
Was it functionable to use at that point in time?
No.
Did you have to replace that phone?
Yes, I did.
In addition to the requirement that she return the items, is there also a provision in the prior orders that, Desi is supposed to pay for the one half of the insurance?
Yes,
And there's a specific amount set in the orders, is that correct?
yes, there is.
And, she's supposed to be paying for one half of the health insurance and one half of the dental insurance, is that correct?
Correct.
Has she paid any of those payments for the dental or for the health insurance?
No.
Your Honor, I'm going to, I guess, object if Miss O'Brien is trying to get in a motion for enforcement without reading it.
No, Your Honor, I'm not.
I'm not considering it as a matter of enforcement, I'm considering it as evidence of the best interest of the child.
I'll pass the witness.
Limited to that scope, Mr. Huckabee.
I pass the witness, Your Honor.
Your next witness, Mr. Come into the room, if you would.
One second.
Okay.
Come here. There you go.
All right, Haven, if you will raise your right hand to be sworn.
Can we turn it, Your Honor?
You solemnly swear the testimony you give and the cause before the court?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're kind of crooked, just a second. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you give, the cause before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, now what we're going to do, Haven, what I'm gonna ask you to do is I'm gonna ask you to take, the phone, whichever phone you're on a phone, is that correct? That's one thing you've gotta answer out loud, because the court reporter's
Yes,
gotta
sir.
take it down. All right, that's fine. And I'm gonna ask you to take the phone that you're on the Zoom with and go to your room or wherever it is. And Mr. Holcomb, the reason I'm doing that is, I'm going to talk and the other attorneys are gonna talk, with Haven, but I think it would be better for her to do that outside the presence of both of her parents. All right. So what I'm going to do, again, I'm going to put, Miss Bailey, I'm gonna put you back in the waiting room, and there's both.